Hello, everyone. Um, Wearing pants today, Starry here. The least engaging person on the internet. Um, Talking about records again, because what else do I do with my life? We're gonna do a record update. We're not gonna rate them. We're just gonna talk about them because I just don't have time or energy. Awesome. So first, this is just stuff I've gotten since my last collection video. It's been about a month, so first we've got this 7-inch Fela Ransome and his Highlife Rakers, which is Fela-Kuti's first band. Those are the first two recordings he's ever done. This actually came in a box set that I'm going to be talking about later on. It's like a little bonus thing, but it's good to point it out and talk about it. It's just cool, like Afrobeat, like upbeat jazz. It's very danceable and very fun, and it's really awesome. And it's like kind of a piece of history as far as like jazz goes and as far as Afrobeat goes, especially if you're like into Fela. I'd get the box that I'll be talking about later, and I'll probably bring it up again. Cool. Next we got Drill for Absentee. They're a band from Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, first wave emo band from Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, which is about 20, 25, 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia, depending on how fast you're driving. It was an okay record. I mean, I like the first side a lot. It's a really great song. They showed a lot of technical skill and a lot of just prowess as far as musicality goes, but the second side is just poorly written. The A side is always spectacular, and when you get a 7-inch single, it's iffy as to whether it's going to be good or not. I'm always rolling the dice with these, just trying to find new music, find old stuff that wasn't popular but probably should have been. So yeah, that's Drill for Absentee. The process will make Chicago wave its little hand by way of Detunist. So if you're into like first wave emo, like that early stuff, like the Sunny Day Real Estates and all that cool jazz, maybe listen to that first song. Don't listen to that second song; it's not very good. Next is Napalm Sunday. Napalm Sunday is a garage rock, garage punk band from, I think, Philadelphia as well. Broomall, Pennsylvania, actually, which is, half an hour south of Philadelphia. So, if you don't know your Pennsylvania geography, I'm here to school you. But this record's pretty cool. It's like a little garage punk record. It's got this weird checkerboards banging a car on it. There's a picture of the band on the back. And it's on colored vinyl. It's clear and yellow. It's very cool. It was a likable record. It was like kind of like garagey, like kind of hardcore, somewhere in between. It was a fun listen. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that was cool. Next I've got Manual 7. By the way, we're going up in size order. As far as records go, so we've got our 7 inches, I've got a 10 inch, I've got some 12 inches, and then I got some boxes, so we're just going to run through really quick. Manual 7, they're a power violence band from the late 90s from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and there's like 5 songs on here. This is actually a really fun listen. I did enjoy it quite a bit. They're like just a classic like power violence hardcore act. They just played just fast, loud, kind of scary. They don't really stand out as far as power violence bands go, but since I like the genre so much, I did enjoy the record. It was a fun listen, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was the right amount of production, not too much, not too little, and just the instrumentation was just solid all the way through. There was some great songwriting, some great ups and downs, some builds and some breaks. It was just an enjoyable listen. It was great. Next we've got Fallen Upon Deaf Ears. This is a 10-inch. And it's a compilation of hardcore bands from the East Coast and the West Coast, just, hardcore bands in general. There's some really solid acts on here, too, that I didn't really, I wasn't super familiar with, but, I knew a few of their songs, like, the Nauseas, the Drop Deads, Screeching Weasels, the Anti-Schisms, and there's some other really good tracks on here, too, by bands that didn't quite get that recognition in the, the crust and hardcore scene. So that was a fun record. It's kind of a collector's item, only, you know, not really, because not a lot of people really care about that 90s, like, crust scene. Sorry, that was a sneak peek. Next, we got Joyce Manor's self-titled album. This is another colored vinyl. I stumbled on a bunch of these just half by accident, but we've got like this blood red sort of thing going on. It's actually a very cool record. This is one of my favorite punk albums of the the 2010s thus far. Just every song on here is really solid. The writing is really like, it's subtle and it's like really low key, but at the same time kind of prophetic. And he says a lot without saying a lot. There's a lot of depth to his lyrics without there being a lot, you know, to them. So that's a cool one. Joyce Manor, self-titled. Next we've got Meat Puppets. No Strings Attached, very cool record. Also colored vinyl. I don't know if you saw this old ass sticker on here. This isn't the original SST record press, and this isn't a reprint. I don't know if or why they would reprint it, but you know, it's on clear pink vinyl because, you know, Meat Puppets are about that. I guess they did their first record. They just dropped a butt ton of acid and recorded their first record in, you know, three days in a room. So they're like super weird. I mean, you can see the art on this thing is just bizarre. It's a fun record though. As far as, you know, the Meat Puppets go, it's pretty par for the course for them. It's not Meat Puppets 2, which is like by far their best record, but it's a very enjoyable listen, and it's got a lot of solid tracks on it, and it's very diverse. And as far as the production goes, it's like just the right amount of production, not too much, not too little. It's kind of fuzzy, it's kind of rough at points, and it's also very smooth and like almost ballad-like at points because they kind of have that country vibe to their, you know, their music sometimes. They invented cowpunk, as they call it, which is really interesting. So yeah, the Meat Puppets, No Strings Attached, that was pretty cool. Next we've got David Byrne and St. Vincent, Love This Giant. Love David Byrne. This is David Byrne. And I love St. Vincent as well. Big fan of both of them. I love the Talking Heads. I love St. Vincent's solo work. Well, not her solo work, but her work with her band, St. Vincent. Annie Clark being the vocalist and namesake of St. Vincent. She calls herself that on stage for whatever reason. Some weird packaging. Like, on the inside of this record, you've got your sonogram faces of David Byrne and Annie Clark, and on the record label itself, you've got their dental molds, which is really odd. I mean, you wouldn't expect that from like the packaging. Just from the outside, it looks like a pretty normal, like kind of a pop record, and it is. It's a nice pop record, but it's got some really dark turns, and it's really cool how they you know, they intermingle like the synthesized bass and the horn section, and like every song is really danceable and rhythmic, and it's just a really cool record. It's really fun, and it's, you know, super underrated. Both of those artists, well, not so much Byrne, but I think Annie Clark is one of the more underrated songwriters out there to date. She's very cool. They're very cool. It's a great record. You'll love it if you don't have it, and if you do, you probably love it. Next we have Andrew Jackson Jihad live at the Crescent Ballroom. I do have another copy of this record sitting right over there. You can't see it because you can't see my room. The camera's facing me. But, you know, I bought this record when I saw them on tour. For whatever stupid reason, I took this record into the crowd with me and like stashed it under the stage, and by the time I went to grab it at the end of the night, it was beat to shit. It wasn't broken, but it was completely unplayable. Like, it was scratched more than I thought a record in its sleeve could be scratched. So it was unplayable, so I had to order another one. I just got it in the mail yesterday, so that's very exciting. It's a great record as far as if you're not familiar with Andrew Jackson Jihad, they're this folk punk band from Phoenix, Arizona. They're very fun. Their songwriter is incredible. His name's Sean Burnett, and he's very tongue-in-cheek, very funny, while at the same time being very like profound about what he's, you know, writing about. He's a great writer, and I really enjoy his songwriting and his everything. I love that band. So yeah, Andrew Jackson Jihad live at the Crescent Ballroom. If you need an introduction to this band, this is the record, because they play music from all over the place. This band is notorious for putting out like hundreds of EPs. Like they have a bunch of splits, a bunch of EPs, a bunch of like albums where they collaborate with other bands. They've worked with like French Quarter, Oh Pioneers, Partners in 818, Ghost Vice, just tons and tons of bands. They're so prolific. They put out so much music, and there's not one song of theirs that I really, really hate. Although their first record, don't bother listening to it. It's not great. Okay, next we've got Music of South India. It was recorded by Wolf Peter Stiftel. I don't really know anything about this record. I listened to it at the record store. They put it on for me because I've been listening to a lot of Indian music recently, like chanting and sitar performances. I had Hariom Sharam sitting there a couple videos ago. So I put it on, and it was just an enjoyable listen. Like, they did a lot with harmonies there. The rhythms were really interesting, and the vocals on this record were pretty enjoyable. I don't know if you're going to find this anywhere. It's a really old record. It's from the 70s. It was just recorded for the sake of recording it to bring the world back to, America or whatever, just to, enlighten people or whatever. So yeah, Music of South India. And now we're getting into our boxes and our triple LPs. I just have two of them, one of each. First is Highlife on the Move. It's where had the Fela 7-inch in there as the bonus. This is actually a really cool record. If you have like $35 to spend and you're really into like dancing or just generally having a good time, this is a really great record because every song on here is really danceable, really fun. There's a lot of really fascinating instrumentation, like really creative rhythms, really creative harmonies, like shouted vocals. It's just an incredible listen, and it's really fun. Every song on here, it's actually a compilation of Afrobeat and African jazz musicians from Ghana and Lagos, which is in Nigeria, I believe. From 1954 to 1966, so it's like early African jazz, and it's very, very cool. It's a very fun listen, and if you're into jazz at all, listen to this record. It's incredible. Last we've got The Stars of Country Music. It's a box set. It's got like 6 LPs in here, and Stars of Country Music is just a compilation of like all these country hits from the golden age of country, so-called. From like the late 50s to the mid 70s, I think. There's like some George Jones on there, some Patsy Cline, some Dolly Parton, just like all the big names of country. So it's like if you want an introduction to country music, if not, don't listen to country music. But if you're looking for an introduction, I found this for like $4. It's not hard to get a country box if you want to like kind of get into that scene, because honestly country music is actually really underrated. I like country music a lot more than I will let on. It's just fun. It's they're not subtle about anything. They just write about what's happening with them. They just some of them are about God. They're about being happy, about drinking, about being sad, about getting shot. Like it doesn't take much to parse the music out, but it's a fun listen nonetheless. Yeah, The Stars of Country Music. This is my record collection as of Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. Cinco de Drinko. Some people call it. I don't like that, but you do anyway. If there's anything you want me to review, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to cover, just leave a comment down in the comment section below the video. Yeah, yeah, music, records, yeah.